You are unmuted.
Rob, can you try something?
I need you to sign in as you, Tim.
Yeah, I am actually. I just created an account and logged in.
No, you're signed in as Rockingham Planning Commission. That's why there are two RPCs.
Nice. All right. I need to leave then.
You need to leave and then sign back in.
Okay, someone kicked me out. How do I get out of here?
You just need to leave.
Got it. See ya.
Afternoon.
Hey, Dave. Dave, I'm going to make you actually a host.
Okay.
So that should, any problem with like anybody like raising their hand shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
Okay. Not that anybody's going to raise their hand because it's Tim, but.
Right. I think I just need to keep the chat window open. I think it's easier to see in that.
Actually, if you look on the participants, just click on participants.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. Participants, that's really what I meant, actually. I knew there was an easy way to see it, but when I have the presentation up full screen and I'm sharing it, it drops to basically being able to see me or just a couple of people, and I can't see the participants list. And so that's what I was struggling with yesterday, was trying to figure out what, if anybody had raised their hand. I just couldn't see that information with the full screen sharing going on. So I've either got to exit out of that to show that or move it to my second monitor. You're showing as muted, Jen, and
Sorry, I muted myself because of the echo, because Rob is listening right now.
okay. I'm not getting an echo of any kind.
Nor am I. He's listening on the phone.
Oh, okay.
And Tim just signed in again.
Yeah, we're testing out the public input. We've got folks from Nashua and DOT joining us to just try to.
Okay, you're all set. You don't need another.
At this point, I don't think so. But if we do, I will give you a call.
Why am I still showing up as Rockingham Planning?
You have to go to the Zoom website and log out, and then log back in.
I did.
Under your, okay.
Twice. It's somehow remembering me as. Hold on a minute. It's RPC. It's always something.
At this point, I think we're okay. If you can't sign in, I'll just rename myself. But I need you to not like change any of the live streaming or recording settings.
Yeah, no, I don't plan on touching anything. I'm just.
Okay.
I just went back to like a Zoom browser to check my profile. And it's taking forever. And it has me as logged in via my Gmail. Yeah.
Don't worry about it for now.
Rob, it looks like you're connected twice somehow.
It does?
I'm showing him as being, he's on the phone with the 2801 number. And I'm showing that twice.
Oh, you mean Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
showing up.
agree.
Either, maybe I can remove one of them, maybe. See what.
Yeah, I can tell you my browser is convinced that I am logged in under my Gmail. I don't have any other meetings scheduled. I'm definitely not rocking and planning. Do you want me to change my
I
name,
just
Jen?
renamed.
I just renamed myself Jen Rowden for clarity. If you want to rename yourself,
Sure.
right click on your name in the participants list.
Yeah, I
You
got
should
it.
be able to find the rename.
All right, should be good.
And everybody knows what they're supposed to be reading or not reading.
Yeah, all I'm doing is asking questions, I think.
Yeah, Dave gets the bulk of it. So
Am I doing the introductory stuff?
look at what I emailed you a little while ago. It has names next to it. I'm doing the meeting sort of title streaming to public input component, and you're doing the best practices and all the ways public participants can comment. It's an email I sent about an hour or so ago.
Yeah, I see that now. Helps when you read your email.
Hey, Jen, is it just me and you and Dave and Rob on this right now?
Yes, we will be going live onto public input in about 3 minutes. Julie was not going to participate, I guess.
Okie dokie.
All I did though was send her the public thing. Rob only has public access too. He didn't sign into the Zoom or anything. But
Okay.
he's one of the callers.
Right. Yeah, I'll ask you then the couple questions I have after the fact
Okay.
later. It's just Zoom best practice questions that I had.
I see somebody else. Is it possible that there's two people that called in via the phone number? Is that what
Yes.
it is? Okay.
Yes.
That's why it's showing up as the same number. Okay. How are we supposed to differentiate between people that are?
I can see in the public conference line the list of people that are calling in to comment. So when they raise their hand, I can.
Okay.
Because keep in mind, they can't speak. They can only hear.
You can only listen. All right. Okay, so all right.
We're going to be going live in 1 minute, just so you know.
Okay.
Also keep in mind, there will be about a 15 to 20-second delay on all of this.
Wanted to make sure my phone was set to do not disturb. Seems to work really well as a camera and mic, but it's people are calling me or texting me. I think everybody notices.
Hey, Dave, you're going to have to be the one that hits the record button. It's on the bottom of the screen.
Okay. You ready for me to do that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we are recording.
You're muted, Jen. Dave, Jen's muted.
You were muted, Jen.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. This is the test New Hampshire Public DOT public hearing test RPC is conducting. Just a quick review of a few meeting protocols. This meeting is being streamed via publicinput.com. We will be recording this meeting, and all of the public comments that are either posted online or part of the voicemail call-in will be made available on this website once we are done this meeting as well. If there is a need to adjourn the meeting due to technological failures or a need to adjourn because of the meeting being hijacked, we will actually continue the meeting to an April 24th date. So later today at 3:30, if there is a need, it will be able to be accessed via this same website. If for some reason you are experiencing any technological issues, please email me, Jen Rowden, at jrowden@therpc.org. Up next is going to be Dave Walker with Rockingham Planning Commission to go over a few of the meeting procedures and protocols, given that we are in a virtual meeting space.
Okay, thank you, Jen. First off, there are multiple different ways that participants can, public participants can provide comments on this. There's, comments may be provided online at publicinput.com/V423. That's V423. You need to include your name with the comment as well if you're adding comments on that. Also, you may leave comments via voicemail. The number for that is 855-925-2801. You'll be asked to enter a project code, and that is 8020. And also please include your name in that voicemail. Comments may also be emailed to me at dwalker@therpc.org. And that's DWALKER@therpc.org. And the public can listen to this meeting as well via that 855 number. That's 855-925-2801. Again, using the project code 8020. I am going to go through a quick listing of some Zoom protocols that we're using, and I'm going to share my screen and show a quick PowerPoint presentation with all that information. Maybe. All right. Okay. So as everybody's becoming more and more familiar with Zoom, this probably will become less and less necessary, but just some ways that we're going to process and try to keep the chaos of this type of thing to a minimum as we go through these meetings. We'll be meeting everyone who joins, or muting everyone who joins Zoom on entry, and we'll endeavor to keep people muted, except at the point where they're being selected to speak, providing comments or having a discussion. Of course, participants in the Zoom meeting can mute and unmute themselves at any time using the toolbar at the bottom. You can also start and stop your video of yourselves at any time. If you're having connection issues and things are looking a little stuttery on the video, often you just disable the video for a while or for the rest of the meeting. It helps with your connection. There'll be a roll call that happens at the beginning of the meeting for each voting item, and go down through the list as attendees appear on the participants list. We'll go through that list in order as it's being seen by the person doing the roll call, and asking about the vote at that point or present at the initial start of the meeting. If you're asking a question of a presenter or about any of the topics we're talking about, please identify yourself so that we can make sure we know who is asking the question. We've added a number to each of the slides down in the lower right corner by the RPC logo. So if you have a question about a specific item, you can refer back to that slide number and that'll help us find it. And again, as Jen said earlier, if for some reason the meeting ends, we will continue to that time that she stated at the time earlier and log back in using the same link you were provided before. So in terms of answering or asking questions, you can, if you have the participant list up, at the very bottom of the participants list, you can see a button that is the raise hand button, and that will let the presenters or the people monitoring the meeting, let them be aware that you are in fact looking to speak, and we'll try to get to you. Comments can also be made during the chat function in the toolbar. However, we would prefer that the comments in the chat be limited to technical issues. If you're having trouble hearing or having trouble, the screen is stuttering or audio is bad, something along those lines, as opposed to substantive questions. The chat comments are not saved, so they cannot be counted towards any sort of public hearing or public comment. And then if attendees could hold all questions or comments till the end of each presentation, that will help this go along more smoothly and help me make sure that we get to everybody who has a question or comment. Right. So this is where we would in fact go through the meeting roll call and looking at the participants list. Let's say Tim Roach.
Here.
Jen Rowden.
Here.
All right. And unknown callers are the only others. So we'll call it good there. Okay. So that is it for that presentation. In the intro, I guess I should open it up to if there are any questions about anything that we've gone over so far.
If I could, go ahead.
This is Jen Round. Just for folks who are listening into this demo, the people that are on the line that Dave mentioned are actually people just calling into the conference call and able to listen to the conference call. They are actually not participants on part of this meeting. We would be able to do that in a separate function if need be.
And I would also just want to add that the folks that are viewing this through the publicinput.com link, you're viewing the Zoom meeting, and on your screen you should have a panel either to the right or below that is an area where you can add your comments and questions, and we'll see those in real time. And that gives you an opportunity to participate that way. And you may also call in with the phone numbers that were provided to leave a voicemail that will get translated and reach Dave and Jen so that we could respond if needed.
All right. Thank you for clarifying those things.
Dave, you are
So-
now up to give a mock presentation.
Okay. For the mock presentation here, I am going to go through the TIP Amendment 4 presentation, the short version of the TIP Amendment 4 presentation that I gave at yesterday's staff meeting. So I will just launch into that, and if you want me to finish up and be done anytime, just let me know. Okay, so TIP Amendment 4 to the 2019 Transportation Improvement Program and the State Transportation Improvement Program, otherwise known as the TIP and STIP. While there are additional projects statewide, there are 4 projects in this that we need to deal with. 3 of those are actually regionally based projects, while 1 is a statewide, part of a statewide program. We are starting a 10-day public comment period on Amendment 4 on May 2nd, 2020, and that will conclude on May 12th. It will be followed by a meeting of the RPC MPO Policy Committee on May 13th, beginning at 7 p.m., and that will be held virtually. Information will be forthcoming as to the exact ways that you can connect to that. And there will be a public hearing at that RPC policy meeting as well. In essence, the TIP Amendment 4 is resulting in a $10.6 million increase in funding in the MPO TIP, and overall funding change for the full length of the long range transportation plan, which includes the costs of projects beyond the 4 years of the TIP. It's a total of a $20.7 million increase in funding. This page is essentially an overview on how to read the revision report. This gets mailed out and sent out to all MPO TAC and policy committee members, and it goes out with any revisions that we're making to the TIP, and is posted on our website. It is essentially how to read the revision report. Starting at the very top of the page is the docket information. What amendment are we dealing with? When is it expected to be approved? And that sort of detailed information. In the middle of the page for each project, there is an approved section, which lists how the project is currently approved in the TIP, and at the bottom of the page is the pending piece, which is how the project is proposed to be revised and how it will be listed once the amendment has been approved. If a project is being added to the TIP, it is a new project, there will not be an approved section, it will just be a pending section.
All right, Dave, I'm going to recommend we sort of assume you would give a very thorough presentation on this and move on to the next portion of our meeting.
Okay, so yes, we'll go through these for the 4 projects. They are changing in amazing ways. Our money is going up, the amount of money we have. We are fiscally constrained. We are meeting our quality conformity requirements. And now we'll move to the point where we take comments and questions about TIP Amendment 4, starting with those on the Zoom call.
This is where I ask my question: why is my project still not constructed?
Okay, projects take some time, and if construction was not programmed for the current fiscal year, then it will be occurring in the fiscal year for which it is programmed. Your project is not programmed until next year.
Right. And at this point, any discussion that the MPO members or board members, whatever meeting this happens to be, could continue and take place. And then we'd get to a point where, we would have entertained public comment. Obviously, we didn't officially, have a chair at this meeting to bang the gavel and open a public hearing or close a public hearing, but we wanted to at least demonstrate how this might work, where this conversation happens, and then we move on to the inputs from the public, which would come in through publicinput.com.
So at this point, this is Jen Rowden. Dave, I'm going to read through some of the comments we've received via the chat, both during and prior to our meeting so far. So one of the comments was actually something I put in earlier, that this is just where comments can be put in. Sarah from Nashua says, looking good so far. Audio and video are clear. The next comment we have is, what is a TIP?
Okay. TIP stands for Transportation Improvement Program. It's a 4-year project programming document involving the most current, the current TIP is for fiscal years 2019 to 2022. And if a project is in the TIP, it generally means that funding has been dedicated to that project, and it is either close to construction or will be constructed, or in construction or close to construction or implementation, however that might be.
Okay, the next question from Tim Roach's alter ego is effectively the same question of, what does TIP stand for? I think that has already been answered. So
Yes.
Moving on, the next comment is, for what it's worth, the TIP revisions report is not overly readable, and that's from Rob.
Okay, we'll take
Seems
that.
to be a comment, not so much a question.
Right, that's that's always a concern when you're doing PowerPoint slides. Things get shrunk on the screen a little bit if you're not watching it in a full screen or on a large screen TV or something. So it might be things that we have to modify slightly just to make sure that they're readable at all times. But these documents are, or these tables and revision reports are available on the website. You can go to the website, the rpc.org website, and find all the TIP revision reports from the current revision as well as any previous revisions that have been completed.
All right, the next question that we have is, how many projects are constructed per year? There was no name attached to that question.
All right, 6.
All righty.
It varies from year to year. It can be very few, or it can be very many.
All right, and that is all of the questions that have been put into the chat online or during the meeting. We did get one voicemail question that was from before the meeting presentation, and it was from Jen Road. And the question is, what is the future of transportation planning?
Virtual meetings. Virtual meetings are the future of transportation planning.
Good answer.
That's a very big philosophical question that we could spend hours and hours debating about what the future is.
All right, and at this point, we do not have anybody on the Zoom connection that is asking to raise their hand to be able to ask a question via phone. So at that point, while we have played around with this for anybody that's listening in, at this point, we don't have anybody actually calling in to try that questioning. We may stay on the line a little bit longer just to play with that a little longer. For folks also on the line, and on viewing from online, we do have a questionnaire or a 1-question survey at the bottom of the public input facing page that people can answer both before the meeting and during the meeting. It's a way of getting additional input that may be outside of the meeting itself as part of a larger project. We just have it here as a demonstration. And just going to check to make sure there are no more comments, of which we do not seem to have any more comments or questions at this time, Dave.
Okay. Do we want to invite those folks that have joined us via the public input onto Zoom to provide any direct input as to how the process worked for them, or do we want to try to do that via email?
Dave, anybody that's listening via Zoom is also able through that queuing process to be able to ask questions. If they're just listening in, we won't be able to pull them into the Zoom meeting itself.
Okay. No, I was thinking more along the lines of, those folks that are just watching and we're trying to get some feedback from them as to how this is working. If we wanted to bring everybody into Zoom to talk about it and how it worked for them, as opposed to doing it via email or something like that. The folks from Nashua.
Sure. Why don't we shut down this demonstration in just a minute, and we can send out the Zoom link so people can just come into this active Zoom afterwards. if
I'm
that's
going
all
to stop
right.
the recording.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to stop streaming this live as well. Actually, Dave, I need you to give me back hosting capabilities.
No. How do I do that?
Right click on my name on the ...
There we go. I got it. I figured it out.